It is such an unfair advantage in residency because like no one does this, at least not yet. It is such an unfair advantage. I didn't study for my last 3 anesthesia boards.
So my name is Mike Olivato. Technically, I'm graduated, but I'm still M4. Moving to Miami in about 4 weeks for ENT residency. Took step 2, got a 226. Trying to improve that overall. But I passed all my exams essentially, but I want to get better. What's at stake? Kind of want to just prove to myself, to everyone, that I am intelligent and I can do well in these exams, and I can actually show my intelligence on these exams. And I kind of want to have a good foundation so that this continues to grow and build.
I heard you say, I want to sort of move beyond the like, I'm just going to try and just passively learn and just focus on coverage as opposed to like actual depth and understanding.
Yeah.
Right. So it sounds like you didn't ever give yourself enough time or space, and maybe didn't have the right sort of approach to learn any one subject well enough that you could get a really high score on any one subject. It was just like you just covered as many things as you could and just hope that that was enough to get you to a high score.
Yeah. Basically, just try to drink from a fire hose and see what sticks and kind of go from there.
The major question that we need to answer right now is, when you study it, can you get at least 80% on that thing? Right? Because whether you want to get a 260 or whether you want to get a 230, right? The best way to improve your score quickly is every single time you learn something, you get a really high score in that thing. If you could get every subject to 80% that you studied, you'd only have to cover 50% of the material. So it sounds like there's a little bit of like I'll believe it when I see more, right? Like this feels
Yeah.
good, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't want to get my hopes up and get disappointed kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get comfortable. I still want to keep pushing.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. Trust me, we will. There's still more to push, my friend. There's a lot more. This is just the first of many steps. This sort of stays strong, like, or I can sort of build a knowledge base over time. The best way that you can do that is to make sure that everything that you're learning, you're making cards on it. Because if you learn 100% of coronary artery disease, but you only make cards on 30%, you will only remember that 30%.
I guess the question is, I get, 60 or 80%. Do I make cards on all 5 questions, or do I just make cards on that one I got wrong?
I actually wouldn't worry so much about that. I mean, yes. Like, I'd probably make cards only on the ones that you got wrong you weren't sure of. The more important thing is that like you should still go through all of first aid and find all of the things that you don't know about that subject and make cards on all of that stuff before you even start doing questions on that same day. So the wrong way to do this, because some people misinterpret what it is that we say, so I just want to be really clear. The wrong way to do this is to like spend a week and only make cards in first aid, and then after a week of like making cards, then you're going to do questions. Don't do that. You should be doing questions every single day. You should still be testing yourself to make sure, okay, can I get my 80% today? Okay, can I get my 80% today? Right? However, on that same day, before you start doing the questions for that day, you should make cards, like probably 50, 60, 70, like cards on all of the material from first aid before that. Because the other wrong thing that people will do is they'll make cards only on the things that they got wrong or only on the questions that they saw that day. The issue is that the next questions that you're going to see on your next block of questions are they're not usually going to overlap on the last 5 questions that you saw, right? Like you got a question wrong and I don't know, let's say it's on like coronary artery dissection. I guarantee that that's not going to be the next question that you see, right? It's going to be on something completely different. And so unless you want to just keep, reviewing these questions, doing questions until you get to block number 20, right? You need to anticipate all of the questions or as many of the questions as possible. And the best way to anticipate those questions is to look at the first aid section and then make cards on all of that material first and then do questions that same day.
Got it.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. I don't know if I'm necessarily doing that. I don't think I am doing that correctly, but I can pivot to be more expansive. But yeah, that makes more sense than just like pickpocketing areas and not becoming an expert in everything. So like, let's say I'm doing CAD Do I just go in first aid and just look at the CAD section and just do everything?
If you're a medical student or a doctor preparing for either the USMLEs or COMLEX or one of your medical board exams, then be sure to sign up for our free 14-step program where we'll walk you through the most efficient ways for you to improve your score in a short period of time. And if you're interested in getting there faster, be sure to book a free call with our team where we'll break down what it is that's holding you back and, if it makes sense, explain how it is that we can help you to get there more efficiently. If it's directly about that topic, stick to that. Like, so for example, for CAD, I probably wouldn't do the heart failure section, even though you could make an argument that heart failure and CAD are related, right? I would
Yeah.
probably just stick with the section that talks about like stable angina, unstable angina, MI, right? Have you started the deck that we made for CAD?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How has that been?
It was good. I did that before I started the CAD block on 18th. So yeah.
Oh, great. Well, so
Yeah.
that could also have been part of the reason why.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, yes, that's why I don't trust my process just yet.
Your
But I,
cards may not be the reason. The cards that you made may not be the reason, but like your knowledge certainly, like, because the purpose of showing you that the purpose of creating that deck, because Eunice and I spent hours and hours and hours making that. The reason why we spent so much time on that deck is just because we wanted to show you what good looks like. Let's just imagine from now until the day that you took your test, if every single day you made a deck like that, the one that we made for CAD, and you added those cards to your deck, and then you continue to review those cards for all of the other subjects, and you maintain that knowledge, and it just kept growing over time, and you did questions on the things that you're studying to verify that what you were studying is working, like that the way that you're learning is actually working, and you're seeing your score go up,
hmm,
and you just continue to do that. What do you think your score would be for step 3?
probably pretty good. It'd be exponentially growing, I would imagine,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And why do you say that?
because it's uh because you're just just like kind of building the foundation and kind of just building on top of that, and like a house of knowledge, but still solidifying the base as you go along.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So this is it. I mean, it's you've already seen it. You just have to do it. And the great news is that if you are yeah, I know that you must be either extremely good interpersonally, which I can tell that you have that, and or you have really good research. Because to match into ENT without like a 260 plus on step 2 means that you had to have had other strengths because it's a really competitive specialty, which also means that
Yeah,
you also know how to work really hard.
yeah, for sure.
Point being, like you have the capacity to do this. It's really just now about like you just got to you just got to do it. Like you have the model in front of you. The key is that you've experienced the benefits of making cards in a particular way, of having really broad coverage, making the cards in the right way, and in doing those cards. That's it. That's all you're doing for the rest of this. Like it's not. It doesn't really change all that much. Like the specifics will change depending on the subject sometimes. Like for example, the way that you study a biostats question is a little different than the way that you study a vignette. But the principle is still the exact same. You take the knowledge part, you separate that out, you make cards on that. You make versus cards, compare and contrast cards for the terms or the concepts that people tend to get wrong. You make reverse cards for the things where it's like you might be tested in either direction, and then you make like calculation type cards that actually force you to use that material in the thing. It's the same principles, right? It's the exact same
Mhm.
process. How would it feel if you had the skill set of being able to, for any topic, break it down and make excellent cards on that thing?
Oh, for sure. That's why I wanted the whole goal of this course was to like be able to do this for ENT as well for boards and like make decks for everything, whether it's like anatomical or whatever material I'm trying to learn for ENT. So yeah, yeah, you gotta learn the skills. You gotta teach us how to fish, not just give us fish.
And what we find is that one of the things that people are most grateful for when they finish the program is, I am so glad that I learned how, like, the skills of doing this, because especially when they move on to their specialty boards, they're like, oh my god. Like we had a student, she failed one of her step 2s and she got a 260. She went from a 202, which is like bottom 1%, less than bottom 1%, to like a 262 in 3 months on her NBMEs. Ended up
Wow.
getting like 261, matched into, her top choice OB program. She ended up being their top resident on their CREOG. CREOG is their in training exam. Top resident in the entire program, all classes. We hadn't tutored her in like 4 years at that point. But at that point, right, like it was because she had those skills. It is such an unfair advantage in residency because like no one does this, at least not yet. It is such an unfair advantage. I didn't study for my last 3 anesthesia boards, and for most of them, I scored in the top 10% without studying, right? Just because
Yeah.
like it's a skill thing, right? It's like you said. All
Cool.
right, Mike, really good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for everything.
Absolutely. Keep me posted. Bye bye.
If you're putting in the hours but your knowledge isn't accumulating, it's not about studying more. It's about building a system where nothing you learn gets forgotten. In this video, I break down the exact framework to make that happen and get you on track for a 260 plus in step 2. Click here to watch it next.